Good morning, everybody. And we are back with the Bishop Car Chronicles. It is time for another segment of Renewing the Mind and the Body for a Healthy Living. And while the notifications are going out, we'd like to send out a birthday shout out to Karen Rogers. And if today is your birthday, I pray that your day is filled with many blessings, gifts, and love from all around, and that you enjoy as many of the sweet things as you desire. Just don't make yourself sick, all right? We'd like to say thank you so very much for tuning into this broadcast. If this is your first time watching one, it is to encourage you, to empower you, to educate you, to motivate you, to inspire you, and to uplift you, to move towards your destiny, operating in the purpose for which you've been created, using the gifts that are within you. I am thankful and grateful that you have tuned into this broadcast. I want to say thank you to those of you who are consistent viewers and faithful supporters of Lamont Walker Ministries, of this broadcast. It means a great deal to me to have you a part of the Back with the Bishop family. I appreciate every like, every share, every comment, every red and blue dot. It all means a great deal to me. All right, so I'm going on. You all are with me on this here morning commute. And so with that being said, I'm going to share just a few things with you all, and then I'm going to hop off of here. Good morning, cousin. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. One of the things that has been on my mind so heavily this past week, maybe week and a half, is I was in Bible study with my fiance, and one of the things I love about her is the way that God uses her mind to think and to process. And we were in Bible study, and we were looking at the parable that dealt with the man who owed the king a debt. And once he was before the king, he had asked the king for forgiveness because he did not have the funds necessary to repay the debt. And the king had mercy upon him, and he released him from owing the debt, because the king was going to sell into slavery pretty much him, his wife, and their children and everything that they had until the debt was repaid. However, when the king heard the prayer and the plea of the man, he released him from the debt. And so one of the other things that happened is, as soon as the servant was released from the king's presence, he found someone who owed him a debt. But the servant that asked for forgiveness and his friend had asked him to have mercy upon him, the servant did not do that with his fellow servant. He ended up having him thrown into prison, because he did not repay the debt. And so it ended up being found out by the king that what the servant had done. And so what the king ended up doing was having a harsher sentence put up on his servant for not having mercy upon his fellow servant. So one of the things that I wanted to drop on you all is that it is important for us to tap into the mind of the king. And this is one of the things that I've been sharing this week about how we need to elevate beyond this realm and this world where we live, because we need strategies for execution in our daily decisions, in our daily walk. And one of the things that was so important is that text not only just deals with and talks about forgiveness, because at the end of that text, Jesus told the people, he said, "This is what my Father will do to you if you do not forgive others." But a deeper understanding of that text is that there's a mindset. Actually, there are two mindsets that were at work in the parable. Good morning, Mo Steph, man. Thank you for tuning in, and I have not forgotten you. I'm definitely going to reach out to you. But there are two mindsets that are at work or at play in the parable. One, the mindset of the king, and two, the mindset of the servant. And the fact of the matter is, most of the people that you see around you, people that live with you, people that you go to church with, the majority of them have the mindset of the servant and not the mindset of the king. Now, the mindset of the king, understand this, it wasn't just about forgiveness, but it's about being able to see a much broader picture. And so the king, watch this, originally had it in his mind that he was going to put into slavery the man, his wife, and his children, and everything that he had. Now, understand, now the king had to have thought in that moment, okay, how is this going to affect this man's entire family if I throw them all into prison as well? How is this going to affect my kingdom? Because they are servants in my kingdom. So he's looking at all of these different dynamics, and he makes the decision once he hears the plea and the prayer of the man for forgiveness and for more time, that he would not do that, because again, that will ultimately disrupt the family. Now think about this too, that those children that would have been put into slavery, once they would have been released, they probably would have grown up in slavery. Hear me what I'm saying now, because now I'm talking about systems. They would have grown up in slavery, and they probably would have had it in their heart to seek revenge on the king for what the king had done to their father. I'm going to let that be a Selah moment. So going on, the mindset of the servant, watch this, y'all. The mindset of the servant was to be selfish. The mindset of the servant was, it's all about me, and I got to get what's mine, and I need to make sure that I'm squared away and taken care of, because, I don't want to be put into slavery. I don't want my kids and my family, my wife, to be sold into slavery. And so he did not have mercy upon the fellow servant who owed him. And that's why I go back to what I said earlier. The majority of the people that you come into contact with, the majority of people that live around you, that you work with, you go to the grocery store with, that are in your church, the majority of them have the mindset of the servant, and they do not have the mindset of the king, because it's all about me, what I can get for me, what you can do for me. It's not ever about thinking beyond that moment and beyond self. All right. I think I lost somebody already, because it's very difficult for us to think beyond self when that's all that we are consumed with. And that's one thing that I shared earlier, that no one wants to be around a person who is 100% self-centered all the time. So that's why it's important for you to tap into the mindset of the king, because when you tap into the mindset of the king, you're able to see a much broader picture. Does anybody hear me what I'm saying? Now, going on into this is my last little tidbit. Thank you for the red and blue dots. My last tidbit here is, understand that there are also two systems that are at play. One system is the system of the world, which is selfish, which is systemic, and then the other system is the system of the kingdom. All right, kingdom principles that are enforced. All right, and so the system, watch this, the system of the world is, and when you look at the parable, go back and look at the parable. The system of the world is, this servant, watch this, was in debt to the king, because more than likely he had given what he had received to his fellow servant. Now think about this. Had his fellow servant not asked for anything from the servant, 9 times out of 10, the servant would have been able to repay the debt to the king. So do you understand and see how cyclical this is? It's a cycle. It's a system that a lot of people, listen, it has affected you and I. It has affected you and I. It is a cycle that they live in. So when someone borrows something from you, you have a lack. Watch this. And you don't have what you may need yourself. So what ends up happening is, you have to go to somebody else and ask them, watch this, ask if you can borrow something from them so that you don't have a lack, but then you incur a debt. It is a cycle. It is a system that continues to remain in play, because it is the way of the world. Hear me what I'm saying. It is the way of the world. And the only way for us to break, hear me y'all, I'm about to shout. The only way for us to break out of the cycle is to tap into the mindset of the king, so that we can learn the principles of the kingdom, and then be able to live under those principles and enforce those principles all around us, so that we can continue to break others free from the system of the world. I hope somebody heard what I said, because that's extremely powerful. And one of the things is, it's very easy to remain in the cycle. It's very comfortable to remain in the cycle, because to tap into the mindset of the kings means that you have to elevate, and you have to move beyond. You got to transcend and ascend beyond this realm and what you think and what you feel. And that's not very easy to do. But I want to encourage you to tap into the mindset of the king, because if you don't tap into the mindset of the king, you'll remain in the cycle, and you will also be an unforgiving individual. And the word of the Lord says that if you don't forgive, then your Father in heaven will not forgive you. And then the other part that I like about it is, he said that you are to be the head and not the tail. You're supposed to be above, again, transcending, ascending, and never beneath. And so I hope that you all have heard what I said. My encouragement to you is to tap into the mindset of the king, so that you can, again, find out what the principles are and start living above this world and living above the systems of this world, because there are so many systems at play here that are designed, hear me y'all, to keep us in oppression, depression, suppression, to keep us in bondage, to keep us in debt, to keep us in anger, to keep us in unforgiveness. But when you tap into the mind of the king, You will always be able to ascend and transcend and be able to enforce principles that this world has not known. I love you all so very much. I pray that you've been encouraged, empowered, educated, motivated, inspired, and uplifted to move towards your destiny, operating in the purpose for which you've been created, using the gifts that are within you. All right. I pray that you all have a thankful Thursday. Be thankful today, y'all, for everything that is good, everything that is bad, everything that is ugly in your life. Be thankful and grateful for it because it is all helped to make you who you are today. And I want you to know that I love you. That's it, most stuff. Tap in. Self-preservation is essential, but self-centered is detrimental. I'm going to have to use that, man. I love that. All right. I love you all. I'm signing out by saying, hello, 2019. I'm going up, and so are you. And what's to come for you and for me is better than what's been. That love.